Hi, haven't done a video for a very long time. I've been having quite an intense journey and a lot's been happening. So I've been preoccupied with that. And now that we're going to the dark half of the year, the Libra, the autumn equinox, there's time to sit and be still and reflect and be creative around sharing information. So today I'm going to start with sharing the Mayan Code, which is, we are here, so we're in the yellow castle. So we've done the red, which started on the 30th of March. We've done the white, the refinement of that. We've done the intense blue transformation. So we've been in the centre of the Zolkin here. And we've come out the other side. So once we start to come out the other side, we're really seeing what's manifest within us from doing this first part of the journey. Now, we're all doing this journey, and some people are doing it consciously, some people are doing it unconsciously. For me, I'm coming up to my 10th year of actually working with this experientially every day and working with my ancestral patterning and shadow story every day. So for me, it's a different experience as a conscious dreamer, bringing what is unconscious to consciousness and then transforming it, which is what this whole 260-day creatrix is about. So by the time we get to the yellow, we're seeing how we have changed on the inside so that the outside has changed. Because the belief system that I work with this is that we live in a holograph. And so that holograph has to reflect our belief systems. It has to bring us what we believe to be true. And there's an amazing, amazing reason for this, which is so that we can change things that don't feel loving and respectful by doing heart healing and emotional healing. So today we are on White Galactic Dog. There, you can see the blue tack. All you have to do every day is move the blue tack and tune in and start to learn more about what feels right for you. This is a synergizer. It's a way of working with the universe. It's a very different approach, and it isn't about intellectually led learning. It's about intuitive learning. It's about heart learning. It's about unlearning in a lot of ways. So where we are today, we are on the 10th Mayan sign of White Dog, which is the middle one, number 10. In the natal chart, it's the 10th house, which is the heart's desire. And the heart's desire is to love and receive love. And when we're in that space, in a healthy space, not in a codependent space, but in a very healthy, source-led space in relationship, when we're working with that energy, then we are having an amazing experience of really connecting to all that is and opening our hearts and letting go of attachments and just feeling very aware of where we are on planet Earth. So in terms of yesterday, as you can see, that was a really powerful day because it's a black square. And when it's a black square, it's a portal. And it's a portal of human evolution. So on those days, we tend to get quite big things happening, especially in our own personal circle. So what was happening for you yesterday? Because yesterday was red resonant moon. How are you doing with your authenticity and being the beacon of light? White Dog is about our ancestral patterns and how we have come here to evolve them and become a clear sign. So 8 days ago, we were in the 13-day process of White Dog. And so again, what was coming up for you during this time, this is how you can use it. Today, we are integrating what came up. And so if you work consciously with awareness with these processes, then you will find you get more and more synchronicities, you become more self-aware, you become very aware of what your own pattern is, and you see it replaying on around you so that you can change it. Now, in terms of what the conscious dreamer is about, is blue night. And so there we go, there's blue night. And I'm not very good at doing this the opposite way around. Sorry about that. Okay, so blue night is there, it's the 3rd Mayan sign, and its energy is all about going into being the dreamer. So understanding that everything on planet Earth is created as a result of somebody's thoughts. And of course, we had lots of things over the years about law of attraction and how to manifest. And if you go into this framework with a viewpoint that we have a life purpose, we have a soul purpose, we've come here to evolve our human being family that we were born into, and remember that we're here for that purpose. Remember that when we come here at first, we don't remember anything much, because otherwise we can't do the journey from that place of already knowing everything. So we've come here to not know and to create unconsciously for the first part of our life, so that we can learn what has created our way of being on the planet, what has created key things in our family. So it could be, for example, things that we call hereditary. So we may have hereditary disease patterns in our family that we've got a predisposition for. But underneath that, again, and this is not very apparent, of course, in the Western model, because the Western model of health focuses on illness and medicating symptoms, not actually getting to the root cause. So just because there's a pattern, there's a hereditary pattern, there doesn't mean that each generation has to carry on with that pattern. And I would say quite the opposite, that we can evolve so that we don't do that pattern by becoming very aware of what created it in the first place. So working with mind, body and spirit is key, which again is very Eastern philosophy. It's very key in the Mayan culture, for example. So working with the spirits, working with the guides, going in, looking deeper at what is a holistic view of when there's something manifest in our life that doesn't feel joyful and loving. There's always a deeper reason. And if we don't make the changes that are required in order to live our dream and live from the heart and be inspired, then this is when we become ill. So again, this amazing, challenging time at the moment is key, because we're now really seeing some very deep old patterns come up to unveil how some relationships with human beings on the planet are very narcissistic and very out of balance and very abusive. And because the majority of people on the planet haven't done any sort of conscious awareness or healing, then this is what creates the situation that we see in our day-to-day holograph that we all share in our own unique way as well. So in terms of all these squares, as you can see, there is a starting point at the top here, which is Red Dragon. And so the column that we're in is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So again, you can see that we're in the 10th column of manifestation, which is, in the Mayan language, is called planetary. So again, the 10th day of any 13-day process is when we see what is manifest. So at the beginning of each 13-day process, you can set an intention as to what you want to create. And depending how complex it is, it may show up in that 13-day process. It may show up within 10 days. Even if it doesn't actually show up, it will give you great insight into each day, tuning in and tuning into what these galactic archetypes are. And what I offer you that they are is they are the structure of human being evolution, a 260-day process that begins in a different energy every year astrologically, and also in terms of the 13 moon calendar, it begins at a different time as well. And once you start to really work with it, then it's mind-blowing what it can show you, because it can show you everything in your history, everything in everybody you know's history and your family. It just gives you an amazing tool that you can use to go deeper and deeper with every 260-day cycle. So in terms of my own personal journey, what I have just completed is, again, I find each year that I work with this, I go deeper into working with my own pattern. So I've now worked out all of my code, my cosmic code, and I've discovered a pattern for that, which is so amazing. I just completed it at the weekend. So I can work out how to work very deeply with it now, in terms of all the structures. And I haven't had a chance yet to work out anybody else's code to see if it correlates in the same way for every person, because of course it may not do, but as in not identically. So for example, all the red 13-day processes in my particular wave spell are when I was aged between 18 and 30. So that's my awakening process for me as a young person, as a young adult. And every year I do a workshop called the Persephone Path, which is about the young woman who experienced extreme relationship. And this is told in the Greek mysteries, in many other formats as well, with many different names. But this is the young adolescent part of ourselves who often experiences trauma and then continues to run that pattern on some level for the rest of their life. And so my passion really is about sharing these tools with people and sharing, most importantly, how to heal them and become very aware of things that we're not aware of. This is all about unveiling, lifting the veil, which again is happening massively on the planet at the moment, at this powerful time of return to balance of the sacred feminine. So I'm looking for people who are aged 52 or over who can work with me, and I will be offering a reduced rate for you being a guinea pig for me to map your code. So if you would like to do that and be able to work with a greater awareness of exactly what your code is in any wave spell, so you'll be able to map whatever 13 days is coming up for you, you'll be able to map that and work very consciously with it and start to journal with what's coming up for you as well. I call this a book of shadows that you can keep. I've got quite a few of them now, and this is such an empowering journey for yourself, because that's what this time of year is really about. Going within, working with what has come up for you over the summer months. This spiral started just before the lockdown on the 30th of March. And sorry, just after, because the lockdown in the UK was the 23rd of March. And so now that we've done and completed the Aries full moon, you'll be able to see what's been happening for you, what themes have been coming up for you, and have more and more information for you to work with and heal that. So that although this time is very challenging, it also gives us the most amazing opportunity to see what our triggers are and to really work with them and let them go. The workshop that I'm doing at the moment, that starts online on Friday, is the Persephone Path. So if you're a woman and you're 50 plus, and generally the reason why I ask for that age group is because it's key to understanding code, and it will synchronize with my code as well, so that we can all synergize together and help each other. It really is focused on maturity, wisdom, and having been around the block a few times is key for that. So that's why I've structured it. This is for the first time that I have intuitively felt to put this time frame in. So please do get in touch with me if you'd like to know more. There will be links as well at the bottom of the video for you to look at. And so yeah, it's really synchronizing all of these patterns, all of these codes, bringing things together so that we can work consciously as a conscious dreamer and not keep playing the same old movie. The way that I work with people is to use triggers, emotional triggers, and to follow the cookie trail back as to where these triggers originated. And they always originate in childhood. So it's following them back and then replaying whatever movie that they're connected to. This is an advanced technique. It's an energy healing technique, and it clears the amygdala. You don't lose the learning, you just lose the trauma, and you gain great insights as to what happened at that time, why it happened, and this allows greater freedom and sovereignty for the individual. I've been doing this work now for 13 years, and it literally is mind-blowing, blows me away. So if you'd like to know more about that, please do contact me. These tools are designed and are so empowering for this time, really for this time, because we're now going through the birthing tunnel. We are really being squeezed to let go of old ways of being that are no longer serving us. So what's the astrology today? Well, we're in a waning moon now because we've had the Aries full moon, which was super intense. You may have been experiencing a lot of intense things at the moment. It's all designed to get us to really connect to what is no longer serving us now as individuals. Who am I? So the card today that I've got for the goddess is Athena. So we've got the Michael and the Mary line in the UK. And I live in Glastonbury, which has 52 ley lines. And the tour, of course, is an amazing Michael line there, and there's 52 ley lines coming in to Glastonbury. I live in the Libra part of the zodiac, which is the shadow part, and so it feels quite intense here at the moment, as it does every year. The Mary line is very strong in Glastonbury as well, and in Greece these are called the Apollo and the Athena lines, so that immediately is so key. So power, weave with me a fabric of life that will combine for me your power as a warrior, your skill as a craftswoman, and your love as a goddess. Lovely energy. In terms of the Mayan Oracle, so those are these cards. I love these, so unique, really unique cards. So we've got measure, we've got the structure today. Number 4, which is self-existing. So when we look back, I always look back to what that means in this particular 13-day process. And it's white self-existing wind. So yeah, that is really, really key, because that means about being in truth and connecting to spirit and being free from codependency. And again, I should say, sorry, I'm reading the calendar lying on the table and it's got the top bit cut off. Okay, I do beg your pardon. So it's not white self-existing wind, it's white self-existing worldbridger. And so again, what old worlds need to die so that we can live? That's essential now, isn't it? Letting go of the old worlds. And in some ways, a lot of the things that are coming up around that are really, really challenging. And it's hard to know what the truth is sometimes at the moment. There's a lot of cognitive dissonance going on out there. Now, in terms of the Thoth card, we've got the Death card, which is a very powerful card and ties in to White Worldbridger, of course, which is all about death. So I'm just going to give you some info on that. So in terms of the astrology, we've got 23 degrees of Taurus at the moment in waning moon, a salamander glowing red-orange, burning up with the inner flame of creative activity in the soul realms. The inner life raging with power and insistent force, a level of attunement to the central flame of your being that will not quit. The impassioned desire to manifest perfectly what lives inside. The alchemical intention to burn away the dross and return to pristine selfhood at long last. An extremely sharply motivated path of development, difficult to harness, yet the mastery called for is just what you seek to embody, and anything more reasonable seems easy and lazy. One pointed drive to strip away all but self and be true to self in a fashion which will burn a hole in the world. Wow. And that's on a website called aquaorfire.net, and it's a channeled work called Inside Degrees. So in terms of Thoth, death, I always use Eli tarotstrikingly.com. So death card is the number 13, so cross-referencing that with the Mayan calendar, that's the shift card, the number 13, cosmic. And I'll put a link to that underneath. So this is a triple goddess. And so we've got the scorpion and the snake and the eagle. So moving from base instinct to our higher self. What is seeking to die so that we can live is the key about White Worldbridger. So I'm just scrolling down here. His website is amazing. I highly recommend you check it out because he has so much on there. These are such deep cards, they're amazing. Okay, so when this card is thrown during a reading, it's about a transformative movement in one's own personality, not a death in the family or their own. Giving up your sense of self to a feeling of merging with another or the greater self who is both life and death. We are pruning and composing. Okay, so it's again tuning in, letting go, moving on, rebirthing, and that's what this time of the year is about. Letting go of these old family ways of being that are no longer serving us is absolutely key. So you may find that in this conscious process, you're seeing things that you really don't like happening still, and you might be feeling frustrated. And there are really core reasons for that, and things that we have to do to take action. So this time is about embodiment. It is the Uranus in Taurus time. It is not just about what we think, it's actually taking action. Libra is the time to bring ourselves into balance. It's the time to weigh things up, see what's working, see what isn't healthy, see what isn't in balance in our own personal life. We've had a lot to cope with, haven't we? That was very unexpected this year. So I know a lot of people are not feeling enamoured with this year at all because they'd made plans. I think a lot of people that I was connected to at the start of the year, they were looking forward to it being a really busy year. And they'd got lots of bookings, they've got lots of potentiality, they were quite excited. And then, of course, all of this has stopped. And they've had to readjust and remap. And especially in my own personal life, I've had huge challenges with my nearest and dearest. And this takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of time, and we need to take good self-care as much as we can as well, and not get too worried, not get too stressed about things. So I know for many people, they still haven't got a process that they can use to really work through stuff that's coming up. And I am always trying to create new formats for people so that they can join supportive groups. And I do have a tapping group that comes up every month, again, to work with emotional freedom technique and share stories in a safe space with other people who are wanting to do this work. Also, I'm looking to do a Mayan workshop, and I haven't got an exact date for it yet, but on the 2nd of November, so just after a very huge weekend of connecting to the ancestors at Halloween, or Samhain, or whatever you call it, All Hallows Eve, because this is going to be a huge time for connecting to our ancestors when the veil is thin. But on the 2nd of November, that's the anniversary when I first got my very first calendar and I started working with it. So if you feel that you want to know more about the Mayan calendar, then I will be sharing an invite for that, and I will also be setting up an online group that you can join, where I will be posting more information about how to work with this amazing conscious creating creatrix. So if you have any questions, if you'd like to know more about your Mayan sign, where you are on your cycle, about your cosmic codes, about Persephone, where that is in your chart as well, about current transits that are happening, really powerful ones, and you'd like to know how to work with them, or you want to go deeper and you want to do some energy coaching and healing with me, I offer a free consultation if you'd like to have a chat over Zoom and see if we can work together and see if what I do is of benefit to you. So I look forward to hearing back from you. Please do post your comments on the videos, and I hope to be sharing a lot more information over the coming weeks that will be enlightening at this shadow time. So lots of love and see you soon. Bye for now.